What's up, guys? Welcome to part 2. So this is back to the comprehensive guide of all of the transits in astrology and how to overcome them. So today we're going to talk about Chiron, Saturn, and the nodes. So if you've ever been hit with a Saturn return, we all have, or if we've gotten to that age, or a very difficult Chiron transit, or the North Node doing something difficult to our chart, that oftentimes can throw your whole life in a crazy loop. So, we're going to dive into those ones and really break down, what they mean, how to handle them, giving different examples of remedies that maybe most people don't talk about, and understanding the planets as well. So as we talked about Pluto, like I said, Neptune and Uranus in the first part, today we're going to, really look at these other three. Obviously, you have Saturn, Chiron, and then the nodes. And we might even jump into Jupiter a bit, even though Jupiter is more positive. It can actually shake things up a lot more than you'd expect, and perhaps even eclipses too. We'll see. So let's get into it. Let's learn how to navigate these transits without getting destroyed. Okay, roll the intro. Let's do it. All right, guys, what's going on? So let's start with Saturn. So with Saturn, the key is to work with it, not against it, right? So Saturn is the great karmic teacher. So when it hits you hard and fast, because it's a way faster moving planet than Pluto, Uranus, Neptune, even Chiron. So you really have to look at where you've been slacking, right? It's not here to punish us like some people believe. It's just here to explode, to expose, where you haven't been so solid, right? Like where have you been kind of slacking? So also, it's about structure, so Saturn is very much about stability, and sometimes, and it's very much about karmic lessons. So sometimes Saturn will come in, and let's say it's squaring your moon. It might take you, it might take you on a very, very usually fast, but deep kind of dive into a more melancholic state of being, or kind of expose you to some type of sadness that maybe you weren't that you haven't faced in a while. So really, it's the great teacher, and a lot of other types of Saturn transits, let's say, your routine or the way that you're going about your daily life has kind of fallen to be more irresponsible. Saturn will come in and slap you into shape. I always say it's like that teacher a lot of us had that, I have one that had black with very gray, white strands of hair, and she was very nasty on the outside, but very hard on me, but really wanted the best for me, right? Really saw the good. That's like the potential. That's Saturn. So and Saturn obviously brings a lot of delays. So when you have Saturn transits, you can be really tested in the sense of, let's say Saturn Mars. Let's say you have this tendency, you're always about moving forward. You're always about the go, and there can be lots of obstacles in your path, and it's really just about looking at those and wondering, because it delays, but it doesn't deny. So it's really about the Saturn act of refining you, right? And so I think with Saturn, understanding that you have a big Saturn transit coming, just the awareness of that helps a lot. I have Saturn square moon, and just knowing that it can be kind of a cold energy. It can be an energy that is less exuberant and enthusiastic in some ways, very hardworking. So you can use that to your advantage, right? You can be like, okay, well, I have Saturn energy right now. I'm just gonna grind, And I'm gonna, another big remedy is is just looking, what is Saturn asking from me, right? Let's say Saturn Sun, Saturn Mars. I already said Saturn Mars. We're like, okay, I need to build new habits, right? I need to set better long-term goals, track my progress. So people who take accountability, and these are like, this is seen in natally very Saturnian people, you know, they reap the rewards. Now, Saturn Venus can be a lot about self-esteem and about a lot about love, right? So there can be lots, you know, even with Saturn transiting the 7th house, that could be, you know, the break of a relationship. I've seen a lot of relationships fall apart. Like, I actually had one that fell apart when that happened. I know many people who've had that. Or it could be, you know, when things get taken to the next level. You see, so that's kind of like the duality of Saturn. It's like the, you know, the solidity. It's kind of the breaking point in a way, right? Because what can happen with Saturn Venus is that your relationship can get, it can get a little bit exposed in the sense of, like, if you push things underneath the carpet, like, you know, let's say you have like something in your relationship that is bothering you, but you would rather not talk about it. A Saturn transit might come, and it's a similar with like a Pluto transit, but different. And it might, what it can do is it can create somewhat of like a cold energy where it's like vulnerability or love, that free kind of more Leo, you could call it, like exchange, like warm, passionate, like love. What's the word in English? So many languages. It's not a show off. It's just, it's crazy. There's like 4 languages in my head. I can know that. Yeah, I wish I could just speak them all in one. But those videos would sound crazy. Romanian, English, French, Spanish. That'd be nuts. But yeah, so sometimes it can just be really tough with communication, especially Saturn, Mercury. So yeah, I would say work hard, but don't overdo it. Sometimes people with Saturn transits can do, you know, go towards that burnout. But you know, it does really ask us, you know, what are our goals? You know, like, how have I been slacking on my goals? And then when it comes to your body, like I said, with fatigue and burnout, a lot of people just like go full on into something, and then before they know it, because it, like, for example, Saturn Sun, oftentimes with Saturn opposite or square or conjunct, it brings extra responsibilities. You know, even Saturn Venus can bring extra financial responsibilities. I was just talking to a client about that. So, you know, focusing on your health, on the structure, on your day-to-day, making sure that you're giving yourself enough time is very important. Let's see if I wrote anything else. Yeah, I mean, I'm mostly winging all of this, but I have like some loose notes. Okay. So, okay, Chiron. So, okay, so Chiron transits are underrated, or at least like, I mean, I know that one of the toughest transits I've ever been to is when my 28 Pisces sun, when Chiron was conjuncting it. It hit 5 times, and each time it hit, it was like, just like I knew it was horrible, you know, like every time it was exact, it was like something bad would happen. Like, I don't know, it was just, I remember hiking in Colorado once, and just like, there's this girl I really liked, and I remember like things falling apart like that exact day with her. And there's just like, I forget what else, there's like every time, it was like a joke with my friend Trey, like it was like every time it's exact, something happens. But so Chiron is about wounding and healing, right? It's also about teaching through pain and growing through pain. And it's about you know, finding our innate past life talents as healers. And you know, healer is more of an archetype than anything else. It's not just like, you know, someone doing like work like as a psychologist only, or someone who's doing work as a Reiki healer, as an astrologer. Everyone has a Chiron archetype in them. So number 1 is that one of the best things you can do is stop trying to fix it, right? It's to know that it's all about integration. So things will happen, whether it's on your sun, whether it's hitting something deeper like the moon, you know, which could bring you back in time. And a lot of times with Chiron transits, I've noticed with people is that they feel these things, and the goal is for what's been bothering you for so long to no longer bother you again, but you have to go into it, right? So also it can be really frustrating because it can bring up that feeling that, you know, one thinks that these wounds are supposed to go away and they just never go away, or they feel like wow, like I thought I got past this, and it's just not going away. So it's learning that these very wounds can be the greatest sources of wisdom, of teaching, of you being able to take your experience and help someone else with it. Besides that, what else? Yeah, so teaching, obviously, being able to like kind of give your wisdom to other people, being able to like even just like not necessarily just teaching, but just sharing, like being able to like to be vulnerable, to talk about what you're going through is very, very good. Documenting it in some way is amazing. And yeah, I think like accepting, like once again, the awareness is like such a massive part of it. It can like with the sun, like I said, it can be very difficult for the ego and for like that sense of like the sun is our masculine energy, right? The yang to our yin, our moon's yin. So the moon ones can be a lot deeper and kind of more hidden. The sun ones can hit just as hard, right? And yeah, like Mars can be to our, a lot of times I've noticed that like with people around like their feelings of like being, like they can be like an assertive person and kind of pain around that, or just them being, just them feeling confident. That's the word. Like them, like issues with their confidence. Venus could be with their self-worth. Mercury with them, with their throat chakra and feeling like they, like, their intelligence and their, their perspectives and their ideas are valued, etc. So yeah, just knowing that you can't avoid the pain. A lot of times, like I notice, like with people who go through this, sometimes they try to push that away. You have to use it. It's like transmutation, right? So it doesn't cause pain. It reveals what's already there. That's the big theme. That's what, like in my example, the pain that I had with respect to those events were just triggering something that was already there. If it wasn't already there, I wouldn't, right? Like it wouldn't have felt the way it did. So by changing our perspective as like, okay, this is a gift, because in order to be a more whole version of yourself, it's like, you want to be battle tested, because these transits are in a sense like when you're on your road to your great journey in life, your dharma. You don't want when you're full on, let's say, like doing what you're really, really meant to do. There's not really much margin for error. I'm just, obviously, like I'm not talking about perfectionism, but like let's just say you're very, very busy. You're like really, really in your life purpose. You spent like years in the I call it the Yoda Star Wars swamp. I just finished watching Star Wars. I like never watch movies. Rewatching Star Wars the first time in like so long. Best movie ever. So you were in that swamp period, right? And you come out and you're just like fully in this very external purpose. Like, it's important to know during that time when you're going through that. It's important to handle that stuff when you were in that swamp period, right? Because then you don't want that coming up when you're in some, a period of time where, I guess I'm trying to find my words correctly, but I guess a period of time where, let's say, like you getting hit by that transit and not knowing how to deal with it, not knowing, like I was saying, like, to not try to push it away, to use it, right? And to kind of be introspective about it. That could have dire consequences. So that's really important. So yeah, like making, like, it's kind of like that Rumi, is it Rumi? The like Rumi, I think he had a poem about invite your demons in for tea, if I remember correctly. And essentially the idea that instead of like pushing our demons or the more negative or perceived negative, difficult parts of who we are, etc., instead of pushing them away, invite them in. Like ask them what they want, right? Try to figure out what messages they bring, because oftentimes they do bring wisdom. It's almost like they are children that need attention, these elements of us, right? So you can be creative with that. So instead of seeking a cure, focus on making peace with the wound itself. Okay. So now let's talk about the nodes a bit. Let me just write down the time. Okay, so with the nodes, so these are obviously not planets. So this, obviously is very linked with karma, with fate, destiny, karmic shifts, how our soul is evolving, how we step into our purpose, etc. So North Node transits, right? When the transit North Node goes, is making contact to important part of your chart, it does feel a lot like you're walking into an unknown territory, right? And they can be very big trigger points towards very important times in our life. So it can feel very uncomfortable, because the North Node is this escalation. Is that the word? Escalation. It's got languages again. It's this climbing up this mountain, this metaphoric climbing up this mountain, right? That we don't know. So it can feel very uncomfortable. Like, so, and that's like, on the natal level, and transit. Like if you're like let's say like your North Node is like going on your midheaven, it's like, stepping into leadership positions, even if you might feel unqualified or might not feel right for it. So then there's the South Node trans. I just want to talk briefly about these, right? Because I want to get into like Jupiter and whatnot. But so South Node to me are very poignant because it's like about letting go of past life patterns. So they're very different. So like let's say your the South Node is the transiting South Node, it goes over squares or whatever. It makes contact with an important point in your chart. More so, I would say more so in a conjunction. But and I say that because it's not a luminary, so it's more so a conjunction because it's like like it's not a luminary, and so it's not like, there's no light that's coming from it, so it doesn't really make the aspect. Even though technically, it exists, it's not something that's happening in the sky that we can see, perceive, whatever. But yeah, so it's really about like releasing past life baggage. So let's say it goes over your South Node, goes over your moon. I don't know, or I don't know. You're like let's try to think of a good example. On your moon, yeah, that could be about like releasing old emotional cycles, right? And different comfort zones, and things that are like ways of existing that are more linked to kind of the been there, done that. And you always know, because with the South Node, North Node, and you guys should go check out it's one of my first videos. I forget which Cosmo Sessions it is, but I went through the South Node, North Node, every single sign. But yeah, like it really is about kind of you'll feel this feeling when you're going towards your North Node, whether it's natal or transit, right? Of like things coming, things, people, whatever, teachings coming into your life that are beneficial. And South Node, it's the opposite. Like you'll feel kind of like this stuck energy. You're like, like this doesn't feel like, maybe it feels easy, but it doesn't feel new. Okay. So let's talk about Jupiter. So Jupiter. Okay, so Jupiter is obviously a very positive planet. Jupiter on the midheaven, right? Jupiter on the midheaven could bring amazing career growth, right? I mean, it tends to expand the public persona and give the person a lot of career opportunities, but then they might bite off more than they can really chew, right? So you understand the theme. It's like, it's great. Jupiter is great, right? Don't get me wrong, but just know that everything has a shadow, right? I know I'm overly Jupiterian. I'm like the most Jupiterian. Like, I come to think of it, I have like out of bounds Sag moon ruled by Jupiter. I have Jupiter out of bounds. And then I haven't made a video on out of bounds yet. I don't know. I think I have with, and then I have like Sun, Mercury and Sun square Jupiter in Cancer. So yeah, it's crazy. And I'm a Pisces Sun Saturn. So I'm probably like the most Jupiterian person that I know. Overly Jupiterian. So I've had to learn these lessons. It can be very, so on that point, it can be very ungrounding. It can make you think like, oh, everything's gonna go right. Like I said, like there's no way anything can go wrong. Like this plan is perfect. And I've had to really, really learn through my life. And I know this is more like about natal and transits are always related, to just always sleep on it. On everything big, understand like, whether it's any area of life, whether it's relationships, whether it's, you know, anything to do with my work, whether it's opportunity, you know, a friend, I don't know, I can't think of examples right off the top of my head, but just to know, to not get into that place where it's, I don't want to say manic, that's the wrong word, but like where it's just like, oh my God, you know, and that's very Neptunian also. So hold on, give me 1 second, guys. I just want to say everyone talking about this. Okay, so I will talk briefly about eclipses, just briefly. This is, or should I do this for the next part 3? I'm trying to think about how. Yeah, I'm gonna leave this for part 3. Sorry guys, to get your hopes up. I just need more stuff for the part 3. But yeah, so overall, if we have to break it down to like the questions being asked by each one in conclusion, so I would say Saturn's question is, are you willing to structure your life correctly and to do the hard work and perhaps get through some of the tough times and align yourself with integrity? Yeah. Chiron, more simple, are you ready to heal your deepest wounds and turn them into your greatest gifts? I'm coming with these on the way, by the way. So, the nodes is, in respect to your highest karma, are you willing to step into your highest destiny, your highest fate, your highest karma, or are you going to stay in the more known, but kind of, and they're done that. And then Jupiter would ask, is your expansion, are you being overly expansive? And you can be very expansive, but like, are you doing too much? So anyways, guys, let me know what you think about this video. Do you guys like this format of like part 1 and part 2? Maybe it's more digestible. Let me know in the comments. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I think a lot of people who watch these aren't. I really would appreciate that, but you don't have to. It's all good. Thanks for watching. And yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. And if anyone who wants to get a reading, I have openings. Just send me an email, jesseinnocentastrology@gmail.com. I will answer. We can get it set up for very soon. And it's a very beautiful reading. It's amazing. I give my all right now with my Neptune transits. I'm just like giving everything I have. I think like last week, it was like the shortest one was 4 hours, I think, which doesn't, like, I don't think this is going to be my whole life that I'm going to be doing readings. There's no way. This is like probably a unique time that I'll look back on and be like, yeah, I was just doing that, but I really love everyone that comes my way, honestly. Maybe like a Leo rising makes it seem like it wouldn't be, like I'd be someone who's like timing, like, okay, your time's up, pay more. No, it's just like, it's one cost, and like however long it takes, that's how it takes. If you're someone who wants me to explain it like to give it to you an hour and a half, I'll do that. I can adapt. Whatever you want, just talk to me. I'm super chill. I'm a Pisces, even though I look like a Leo, or I'm a Leo rising. Like I'm very, very good at you know, meeting everyone where they're at and seeing everyone for who they are and their highest potential. You know, I'd say that's like one of my greatest gifts, to be honest, not to like pat myself on the back too much, but yeah. So anyways, anyone can get in touch, and you can go on my website, jesseinnisontastrology.com. And finally, if you don't follow me already on my Instagram, that's where I have like 1,500 posts over 8 years. All my work's there. I'm going to start moving a lot of it over here, because I have a lot of really amazing videos I made like back in the day when I used to make a bunch of IGTV videos when IGTV was around, and actually show the videos to people on Instagram. Now it doesn't show the 15-minute videos. It sucks. So I'm going to be moving those a lot over here. So thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Ciao from me and Esmond and the whole cat gang. All right, bye. Bye-bye.